Winning is everything. You know, when you're winning, you know, it helps a lot. You know, we're just trying to carry this momentum into Washington tomorrow, and you know, hopefully get another one.
What is it gonna take to beat them again tomorrow?
Same effort. You know, we had to clean up some things on the defensive end. You know, shots they was getting in the fourth quarter, we had to clean some things up, and hopefully we can get another one.
Yeah, so I mean, he's always been a good player, Mark, and I know he's a guy that is certainly easy to you know, overanalyze or over-evaluate, but he's a good, solid player that can play both the 3 and the 4, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And his ability to play the 4 late, coupled with his ability to take advantage of the 3s, obviously in the post, is a big deal. Today, I thought again he had a pretty good defensive game, and he's really active, and hopefully he just keeps getting better.
All right, we're back for part 2. We'll talk about Jeff Green now. Jimmy, you're really excited to talk about Jeff Green. Let's talk about him.
How'd you know? Can't sit still.
It took us a couple takes to get you through this.
I can't. I want to talk about him so badly.
So, I mean, Green, his numbers aren't drastically different field goal percentage-wise, except that he's taking more shots. And he's kind of, if you really watch his game, he's more aggressive, which is something that we talked about 1,000 times with Jeff Green.
Yes.
But his effectiveness, even with the aggressiveness, his effectiveness has definitely changed. It's improved.
Still only 3 rebounds today, though.
But he did have one really clutch rebound at the end there.
He did. And I think overall this season, I know we're not just talking about this game, but overall this season, he's been their most consistent best player, I would say.
Sure.
Him and Salinger are up there, and that's obviously been the knock on him. We talk about it all the time, is can he keep it up, can he keep it up? Well, through these games, through these, 18 games, he's kept it up. So we're about a fourth of the way through the season, almost, and I'm impressed with what I've seen out of him so far. I don't know if the fact that he could be entering a free agency has anything to do with it, but it's good to see him put up the numbers.
That's always a good question, but you know, he got a lot of hate for not being consistent the last couple of years, and he's been doing it so far. So we have to give him his props. And like you're saying, Jared, his numbers aren't that much different than they've been. If you look at them, they're a little better, but you just have to use the eye test on it. He's been so much more effective in the games. I think he's had a big part in a lot of the Celtics wins. And you know, he did have 3 rebounds, but another way to tell that he was, you know, aggressive out there, he had 4 steals. So he was out there hustling, looking to score, and we keep seeing good Jeff Green, so keep it coming.
And you know, he's averaging 19 points a game right now. That's pretty close to the numbers that we were looking for. I mean, if you look before the year, we were talking about 20 points being basically the barrier for success for him. He's sitting at 19.3 right now, and then Jared Sullinger is 15.9, 8.8, so he's basically 16-9. Those are kind of the numbers that we were looking for from those guys, and they're bringing them.
Yeah, I mean, I just said it. Like they've been their 2 most consistent players this year. I think that they're the 2 go-to guys down the stretch. I think they need to give the ball to Sully more, to be honest, down the stretch. I don't think he gets the ball enough. I think sometimes they get too focused on trying to get it to Green, and that's when they end up putting up like a forced shot or a contested shot, and they'll blow it somehow that way.
Well, the thing is, Sullinger's been hitting a lot of really clutch threes lately. Yeah. But they're not really working the ball to him on the block. They're not letting him go to his back to the basket game. That's been really good for him. He's barely even really done it. It's been mostly a lot of offensive rebounds and 3-pointers that have been most of his scoring.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he has kind of gotten the ball in crunch time, but we always see him out on the wing.
Right.
I completely agree. It would be nice to see them dump the ball down to Sullinger in the post with you know, a late game situation where they need to get a bucket.
Let's focus a little bit on today's game because it is a post-game show.
Sure.
Let's go back to Jeff Green. He had some huge steals in the first half. I think he kind of got stripped and kind of lost the ball in one. Then he had a huge tomahawk slam, which is happening almost every night for him now, on the other. And he's doing a really good job of reading cross-court passes when they're coming. He's picking them off and he's going out to the races. And he's one of the fastest and most athletic guys in the league, Julian. So you're seeing it. He's basically able to make a play every time.
Yeah, I agree, and it's been great. I don't have much to add to that.
4 steals today. I just think 19 turnovers. The Celtics caused 19 turnovers. A lot of them were steals. So I thought they were getting in the passing lanes. I know Rondo had a couple too. So
it was 10 steals as a team.
Yeah, 10 steals. I mean, I thought it was a good defensive performance from them, and Jeff Green was definitely a big part of that.
Okay, so quickly before we hand out our awards for the game, the Celtics are a game out of the playoffs as of this recording. which incredible for. I mean, they
We're
just won
18 games in.
They won 3 games in a row, and they went from like bottom of the pile in the
Right.
NBA to suddenly kind of close. But it's too small of a sample size. That games back doesn't really mean that
Right.
much. But I mean, Jimmy, do you think that this is going to hold up to that? They could be just under sub 500, which is technically a playoff contender.
I think that they're a fringe playoff team. I think they're one of the better bad teams in the NBA, which puts them in the Eastern Conference right on the fringe of making the playoffs because the teams are so equal. And when you get to the teams past the playoff contenders, they're really some awful teams. Obviously, you've got Philly's awful, Detroit's awful. I mean, these teams, the Knicks are playing awful. So because these teams are so bad, yeah, sure, the Celtics are inching their way up close to the playoffs here. But if you look at the teams above them, they're teams that should be above them. I think there's one team, the Bucks, that they can keep put their eye on and say, well, this is a team that we could potentially flip in the standings, and maybe we can sneak in as an 8th seed, or who knows, maybe a 7th seed, and that's one of the teams I think could fall out of the contention.
Yeah, if you're in the East and you have the talent that the Celtics have, you're going to be in the hunt all season. That's just how it's going to work. They're going to lose some games, they're going to fall back, then they're going to put together another 3-game winning streak at one point, and they're going to be right either in it or right there.
Right.
So that's just kind of how the season's going to go, and eventually I think they'll end up being one of those last teams probably out of the playoffs in the East, which is arguably the worst place to be in the NBA, but hey, there they are.
And just think if they close out a couple of those games that they should have, they would be probably in the playoffs right now if the playoffs were to start.
Which means if they
18
can
games
ever
in.
execute in the fourth
Right.
quarter, they could be NBA champions before the end of the year.
Wow, yeah.
No, but
Did
I
we
mean,
just crown them champions?
Might as well, right? But I mean, seriously, you think at how many games that they played really well and then they completely collapsed,
Right.
like to a pathetic degree. Not just the small blown ones, but the huge ones. If they're getting that together towards halfway through the season, this team is probably going to make the playoffs.
Sure.
Which is
That makes sense.
I mean, it's a really weird limbo space to think about. But
And they beat a team today that's considered one of the better teams in the East.
This was probably their best one of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat the
Joking
Bulls.
aside.
Derrick Rose didn't play, neither did Rondo, so maybe throw that one out. Who knows? I think today was their best one of the season.
Okay, well then let's hand out some awards. So I'll start for boxing out here. For me, it's the fast break points. It was that first half transition that was really big.
You stole mine.
Did I really steal
Yeah,
yours?
you stole
You
mine.
did steal Jimmy's. He even put a circle around it.
Okay, so then I'll change mine so that Jimmy can repeat what I said. So just Rondo's triple-double, 13, 11, and 13.
Didn't we talk about this?
How dare you? This is why we have our pre-show meetings.
Yeah, but I'm busy reading the box score, not listening
21,
to
that's
you.
my stat of the night. Fast break points for the Celtics. I love the way they pushed the ball, especially in the fourth quarter. Towards the end of the game, they didn't get caught up in playing the half court and sort of playing against the clock. They pushed the ball and ended up on a fast break. They'd rather hit that corner three-pointer, and they really sealed the deal for them. So 21 fast break. I don't know if that counted as a fast break point, but that's still an example of them pushing the pace.
That was much better than what I was going to say.
Thank you. I know that.
Well, I actually got creative, came up with my own number, didn't steal it from anybody.
Oh, wow.
The
That must be nice.
Celtics' biggest lead of the game was 25, and the number that I'm going with is 0, which was the amount of lead changes there were, which means they did not blow it. The Wizards did not come back and win the game, as you know.
Almost,
But
though.
almost.
Tall Pierce
Only counts in
three-pointer
horseshoes and
rim
hand
right
grenades.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so then who was the guy that was the most important part of that lead?
The guy that I thought sparked it was Marcus Thornton. Comes in for his shift in the second quarter and puts up 11 points in the quarter in 9 minutes and kind of breaks the game open a little bit. Obviously, the Wizards made some noise, came back, and right when they got it to around 6 points in the fourth quarter, Thornton comes back in, scores 8 points in the fourth, blows it open again. He had 21 points in 17 minutes, shot 7 for 12, 3 for 4 from downtown. Without Thornton, I don't think they get this game.
And since we're copying, I'm going to copy you. I agree. I think Thornton was the player of this game. I just thought he's an instant offense off the bench. When they need it, they bring him in, and he did exactly what he's here to do, which is put up shots and hit shots. And those three-pointers that you mentioned were huge. I mean, talking about a run that right when the fourth quarter started, I think the Wizards dropped like 12 points. They went from 18 points to 10 points in like 30 seconds. So it was good that they had a guy who could keep the lead around 10 for a bit longer there until the Wizards slowly kept closing more and more and more. But still, it's good to have him out there.
Well, for me, I'm going to go a little weird with this one, but Rasuel Butler is a guy that I've been heralding forever.
Very
I've
weird.
always loved him as an eighth man, and today he was the perfect eighth man. He had 22 points. He had a ton of corner shots. He went 6 for 10 from deep in the corner, and I mean his presence in the corner, stretching out the Celtics defense, that was kind of the big difference maker that allowed the Wizards to get back into this game. So I got to give him props when I get the very rare opportunities to ever give him props.
All I'm picturing in my head right now is Jared at home on his laptop at like 3 in the morning going through who his favorite 8th men in the league on right now.
He's got to be leading the league.
That is pretty much my life.
8th man
right
voting.
now. Yeah. No, he's 8th man of the year as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, this show is over. So
you're the 8th man of the year on this desk today.
What can I say? There's 7 guys you can't even see operating right now. I guess there's 5 more. But so we're gonna end this one now. We will see you next Friday. So for Julian, for Jimmy, for Jared, we're out of here. Peace. Garden Report, CLNS Radio, and Celtics Blog.
It's just a mutual respect, man. You know, they understand, you know, just being with this franchise a long time, things I've been able to accomplish, not only on the court, but off the court. And I think, you know, the fans here really value that also. So, you know, was saying hi to some of the long-time season ticket holders, and Brad was right there saying hi to him. And, you know, Rondo, we still talk. We text all the time between me. We have a group text between me, him, Kevin, Big Baby, Perk. We all group text at least once a week.
What do you think?